Fox News Alert, and welcome back to this news, which is hopefully very good news. We're waiting on confirmation of just a sighting that there's a major prisoner swap between the United States and Russia underway, in which the two people you see on your screen there are one of many, but Evan Gershkovich of the Wall Street Journal and Paul Whelan, a former U.S. Marine, Whelan's been held since 2018. Evan Gershkovich has been held for 16 months. They are likely, hopefully, we are going to see released today. We are waiting on those details. I want to bring in Doug Burgum, of course, the governor of North Dakota, former presidential candidate, and your thoughts this morning about this kind of a great breakthrough, hopefully, that we will see today.
Well, Dana, obviously a day of gratitude for the families for Evan and Paul after them being held wrongly by the Russians for this period of time. But I do want to thank you and Bill. I mean, keeping their names alive, keeping their names in front of the public. That's fantastic. So on a personal level, it's a day of gratitude and celebration. But on a larger scale, again, the Biden administration is clear. The reason why Russia wanted to do this deal now is that they think that President Trump's going to win, and they don't want to deal with him. Biden's track record on these hostage negotiations. I mean, you go back just to September of last year, paying $6 billion to the Iranians for 5 hostages. I mean, he put a price tag on every American's head when he did that, made it less safe for anyone traveling abroad when he does that. And then, of course, you know, this is a positive blip, but the trend line is, you know, our proxy war with Russia escalating. And of course, with what's going on with Iran and Israel, that's also escalating. And so this is not making the world less safe. This is, I think, you know, great, fabulous for the families, but it's a political move. And why Russia would go now and get maximum concessions from a weak President Biden.
And that we can't answer. And Governor, frankly, we're trying to read between the lines. There is one report that there's a Russian being held in a German jail right now. He was convicted 3 years ago in 2021 of killing a former Chechen rebel. Yep. Now, you go back to Grozny in the early 90s, and you think about Putin and the Russian military and what happened in that war within its own country. It was brutal. They leveled the place. And then when they went into Ukraine in February of 2022, and they're just bombing these towns one after another, taking out building after building. And you looked at that video, remember, Dana? You see it and you think, is this really happening? You know, an Eastern European country just being leveled by a modern-day military. And that's the way Putin fights. And that's the way he has conducted this war. Similarly, the Israelis are trying to send a signal to everyone in the Middle East that that don't mess with them, because what's happening in Gaza could happen to Beirut again sometime very soon as well. Motivation behind this is something we do not know on behalf of Vladimir Putin, but he is one tactical man when it comes to this, Governor.
Well, absolutely. And we do know one thing, that when President Trump was in office, these wars weren't happening. And we also know that it's just the ridiculous policies of the Biden administration, which is basically funding Russia's side of the war, funding Iranian, funding over 20 terror groups, is the energy policies which are enriching our adversaries. And when President Trump goes into negotiation, if he's focusing on energy dominance from the U.S., he's going to have a big stick to carry into these negotiations. Right now, the Biden administration is negotiating from total weakness because we've already given them the revenue they need to fight these wars.
Actually, that was my question. I was going to, you brought it up for me, and it was about energy. And I know you're in a state in North Dakota. You understand the fracking issue very well. And we did want to also ask you about this suggestion by Kamala Harris's team, not by her directly, but by her team, that she's going to change her position on fracking. What do you think of that?
Well, she's being a political opportunist trying to get a few votes in Pennsylvania. If she wants to be pro-U.S. energy, if she wants to support the U.S. shale revolution, which collectively, the innovation around getting oil out of hard rock, thousands, 10,000 feet below ground, that was $1 trillion worth of of economic savings to consumers across America, and Biden and Harris stood against that the entire time the shale revolution's been happening. And if now she says in one state, or her staff does, hey, I'm for this thing, she's got about 50 executive orders of Joe Biden's that she's going to have to reverse because of everything from the first day in office with the Keystone Pipeline, which is essentially like a U.S. energy security pipeline. They would have to reverse every single thing the Biden administration has done. I don't buy it. I think it's just political vote buying in Pennsylvania.
Oh, interesting. Well, they're going to try and define Kamala Harris. She's been on teleprompter thus far. We'll see when she does an interview. And we'll see when she holds a press conference. It's been 11 days. Not that we're keeping track, but, Governor, it's been 11 days.
Yeah, and we've got 96 days till the election, and America doesn't really know who she is. I mean, this is unprecedented for a lot of ways, not just the short time frame that voters get a chance to know her, but also because she got this nomination without going through a primary process. If she'd gone through a typical Democrat primary process, she would have had to take in all kinds of extreme positions just to get through the primary position. She can just start and say, hey, look at me, I'm a moderate, I'm running from the middle, when in fact her track record both in California and the Biden administration makes her the most extreme left candidate we've ever had, and she's getting a free pass right to the starting line.
Yeah, she got a brand new hand dealt to her, and so far she seems to be playing it very well. Governor, happy birthday to you.
Nice. Happy birthday, Governor.
And thank you for being here.
Yeah, celebrating here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Best to you and your wife. Thank you, sir.